Light Yagami is one of, if not the most focused and determined character in all of anime. Now, everyone who's watched Death Note can agree that Light isn't the most stable character and certainly has a couple screw looses in his head. But one thing none of us can deny is Light's ability to eliminate distractions and dedicate 100% of his mental concentration on the most important tasks that advance his agenda forward. Throughout the entire series, Light is always in a state of flow, moving and plotting meticulously to achieve an immediate objective, and by extension getting him closer to his long-term goals. Rarely do we ever see him distracted doing mundane activities or wasting time. In this modern day, I truly believe that your greatest superpower, the only thing that can separate you from the common crowd, is your ability to focus on one thing and give it 100% of your attention. Thanks to all the artificial dopamine sources around us, this is actually a very hard thing to do. This is where you can learn most from Light Yagami as a character. Even if you haven't watched the show, stick around for the rest of this video, because through dissecting Light, his mindset, and how he conducts himself, we can apply some crucial lessons into our lives to achieve maximum focus and productivity that will skyrocket the trajectory of our life and help us crush our goals. Rule number 1: eliminate distractions. These days, everyone's way too distracted to actually make progress on anything meaningful. The average dopamine baseline is so fucked because people are constantly checking social media, watching porn, mindlessly consuming content, and eating junk food, but we already know this. You see, in Death Note, Light constantly shows us that he's aware of all the things that can distract him, and takes measures to filter out anything that is unnecessary so that he has tunnel vision on his goals. Within the first couple episodes, upon receiving the Death Note, Light would go into his room, lock the door, and figure out how he can continue writing names in the Death Note while still excelling academically. He realized that he had to use every minute of his time wisely and sleep enough so that he's well rested to carry out his duties the next day. Light would either be studying, writing names in his Death Note, thinking about his next move, or sleeping. He wasn't wasting time hanging out with friends, watching TV, unless he wanted to kill a broadcasted criminal, or scrolling on social media. He filtered out all the distractions and honed in on what mattered to him, even though he's a psychopath. While you don't have to be as extreme as Light, you still have to do the same in your own life if you have any ounce of ambition. You have to be ruthless with your attention and time. If you don't decide where they go, then the world will decide for you. Don't just hand it out freely. This isn't a charity. These are valuable, limited resources that only you have. Either you spend them doing what you love, or you waste it. Sometimes it's good to do things that don't directly contribute to your goals, like hanging out with friends or reading a book, because you still need to recharge, but don't get distracted by doing things that serve you no purpose. Rule number 2: enter a flow state on command. Light Yagami is always in a flow state. He's always completely present and immersed in whatever he's doing, whether it's trying to uncover the identity of L, coming up with cunning tactics to deceive the police force into thinking he's innocent, or manipulating Misa to be his pawn. When you look at reality, on the other hand, most people aren't really that engaged in what they're doing. When the average person sits down to write an essay, they check their phone every 2 minutes, get up to go get food, watch a couple videos, and think about unrelated things. Flow is defined as a state where work seems effortless, when you're 100% submerged in an activity that you have no awareness of anything else except the activity itself. This is the state where humans perform optimally and do their best work. The wonders of human inventions, the best moments in sports, and the greatest business ideas were all actualized thanks to this flow state. Think about the last time you were completely immersed in one thing and time seemed to fly. You were probably in a flow state. The thing that separates normal people from exceptional people is the ability to enter flow on command. This is one trait that Light Yagami has demonstrated time and time again, and is why he was able to keep up his antics for so long in the show. There are 2 ingredients necessary for the recipe of flow, and the first is finding a challenge that meets your skill level. You need to find something that challenges you just enough to stimulate your brain and cause you to focus. This can't be too challenging since you're not ready for that level yet, but it also can't be too easy or you'll get bored and perform the task monotonously and with minimal effort. You need to find the right balance that is fun and enjoyable. In Light's case, it was fighting against his rival L. The battle of wits between the 2 intellectually matched characters caused both of them to enter a flow state and focus on outsmarting one another. The second ingredient to activating flow is eliminating distractions, which we already discussed earlier. Implement these 2 things and you'll see a huge difference in how fast and effectively you carry out tasks, and you'll enjoy the process a lot more as well. Rule number 3: take action on short-term objectives to achieve your long-term vision. Throughout the series, Light never lost track of his long-term vision: to create a new world order where he decides how the world is run and impose his psychopathic sense of justice on the world. However, there were lots of hoops he had to jump through and mountains to climb before he could even hope to get there. He had to create a reputation to create a good public image. He had to get the police to stop pursuing him, and most importantly, stop L from figuring out who he was. Light divided his goal up into smaller chunks that he can actionably take. This is something that all successful people do in the real world. They don't just sit and dream and hope and wonder, they actually transform their dreams into something that is doable. If progress can be made, then the goal can be achieved. This is how you must think if you want to achieve big things. Trying to tackle the big thing at once will often leave you drained, frustrated, and resentful because it seems like an impossible feat. Divide your goal up into smaller chunks that are easier to do, and watch how motivated you become to continue pursuing your bigger goal. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's been your boy YBC2Cold. If you'd like to see more anime in-depth analysis and things that you can apply into your life through anime, please let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.